This is universal. This is the same program everywhere. And notice that it's only hitting the West because China and the globalists have set up and funded and supported this network. And then within that, it's only targeting Trump, who's on the periphery, but was told this will bring down America, sir. You've got to cover it up. People can't handle eating children. And all these politicians and world leaders, almost all Democrats, still it'll kill the faith and credit of the U.S. Plus, it's all old news. Plus, they're spiked up stuff about you. I told you this years ago. I have this from people that got it from Trump, okay? Let's just stop there. I'm just going to stop there, okay? And I said back then, and I said now, I said, they are going to double cross. You think you're covering up to protect the country because it'll bring everything down. Covering it up will bring it down. Now, what's got to be done now is admit all this. It is the Clinton Foundation run by the Epsteins. That's in all the documents. It's 99%. I can't even really find Republicans other than Ludnick. It's who I said, I bet it's going to be Ludnick just because of the pieces that were there. And I'm not saying he actually did anything, but he'd be the main target. Now, he's the first main target. Lives next door. Said he only just met him once, but now we learned went to the island. Yeah, Ludnick's done. And boy, when I said that, 6 months ago, the White House is ring. Ludnick's really great. Ludnick, blah, blah, blah. Hey, would you like to come to the White House? Would you? Yeah, I'll keep you at arm's length. There you go. So that's why I don't get in any of these meetings around any of them. That's why I'm off here in my little lily pad. Yeah, we said back at the time, looks like Ludnick, doesn't it? So, yeah, those are trophies that Epstein bagged that he got. So, listen to me. Because this isn't a reality TV show. This is entertainment. If this is handled wrong, we will have the Great Reset, and you'll be lucky if you're eating bugs. You'll probably be dead. And, of course, now it's come out Lex Wexner, as I told you 15 years ago, was the CIA, Mossad, MI6 mega spy chief running Epstein for George Herbert Walker Bush and Bill Barr, putting him on the Trilateral Commission when he's 30 years old, on the commission, not just a subcommission, as the direct liaison to serve as the factotum, or the liguette, to use the French or the Roman before that. And that's because they have to.
Kukapa se siellä näkyy Bill Clintonin häissä? Ghislaine Maxwell.
To have a guy trained and ready that's doing the job who will do exactly as they say. So we can bring down the entire globalist infrastructure with this. But remember, it's allied with Communist China, a big part of it. Bill Gates and others, Larry Finkel said, we're betting on China. Trump will be defeated. He said that publicly 9 years ago, again 5 years ago. Now he acts like he's a friend. He's not. And so this will destroy the faith and credit of the United States if we don't actually go after it and admit it and just have a, to use a communist term, but in a real way, a Truth and Reconciliation Commission, and then just have public executions and just bring it all out. And then go, and now we're going to expose the European arms and the Chinese arms and the Latin American arms and all the arms. And just because this is a world, Satan's worldwide. There's a line in Terminator 2 where Sarah Connor reaches out her hand and she says, "Come with me if you want to live." There's another line in Birdcage where the mother reaches out her hand and she says, "Do exactly what I say if you want to live." I am not saying that to you. I am saying that if the political class and the CIA and the MI6 and the Mossad and the European Union intelligence operations and the general public and the academics and all of you do not listen to me, because no one else gets all the pieces.
Siellä nyt Jenkeissä jollain lentokentällä, niin ihan siis tällainen paikallinen mies kävi vähän huutelemassa tästä Epsteinin listasta. niin huomaa, että ihmiset on vähän niin kuin jäätyneitä. Ei ne niin kuin vieläkään oikein älyää, että tässä on nyt paljastunut, että lapsien raiskajat johtaa Amerikkaan. Lapsien kauppajat johtaa Amerikkaan.
The Epstein files have been released, and all of y'all are acting normal. All of y'all are acting normal.
It really constipated. It made me look so goddamn mind.
Acting normal. Everybody's calling. No, you shut the fuck up. Wait, don't say nothing. Because the Epstein files, what I'm reading, and everybody in this room can read. If you go to Google right now, everybody in this room can read. They are eating babies. They are trafficking children. And if you think for a second.
Se on siis ihan totta tämä lasten syöminen ja lasten salakuljettaminen. Että ainahan muun muassa Twitteriin, niin no tämä nyt on semmoinen, että ei sovi herkimmille, että tämä ei ole mikään feikki. Mitäs niissä häkeissä ne näkyy tuossa? Tämä ei ole mikään näytelty juttu. Siinä niitä lapsiseksiorjaa häkissä kuin eläimiä käytännössä. Tuossa kanssa näkyy. Tämäkään ei ole mikään näytäntötilanne. Mutta kuten tosiaan toi Alex Jones tuossa sanoi niin kuin nyt julkisesti, että Mossad on luultavasti suunnitellut tämän kaiken. Eli kun Britanniassa tavallaan johdetaan Amerikkaa, ja Israel toki johtaa käskyjä, niin kun ne on saanut kiristettyä sitä eliittiporukkaa, niin käytännössä kaikki materiaali on ollut Mossadilla. Ja nyt tällä hetkellä, mitä nyt nähdään, niin se materiaali on nyt verkossa. Se on kaikkien nähtävillä. Ja toi on aika automaattista, että tämä läntinen maailma saattaa romahtaa tämän seurauksesta. Koska nämä rikokset, mitä käytännössä Epstein-listalla selviää, lasten murhaaminen, lasten salakuljettaminen, adrenokromin jalostaminen, ne on niin vakavia rikoksia käytännössä, että siitä ei ihan niin kuin millään muutaman kuukauden tuomiolla ei kukaan selviä tuommoisista. Joten tuommoisessa tilanteessa niin ne yleensä heittelee toisiaan bussin alle.
And I've been completely focused on the Epstein situation in the last 12 days or so, because it's everything we knew was going on and worse. And they're holding back half of it. And I know why, in the final equation, Trump has been involved in limited hangout. Not to keep himself safe. He believes, and I believe he's wrong, I know he's wrong, that this information is so damning, it will destroy the faith and credit of the United States. And that's why the globalists, British intelligence and others since the 50s instituted their pedophile program. That's how they've controlled Europe for hundreds of years, how they control the UK for hundreds of years. The US is just a satellite of this cult. And that's in the emails where he says Europe is the wife of what we love, our beef jerky and our children. See, you've got his emails. It's the wife. America is the mistress. You need to come home to Europe. And that's what all the experts always told me. It's come out so many times about the horrible satanic stuff. And women and children have escaped from Rothschild castles. It'll be in like used to be the British news. Woman escaped. She weighed 80 pounds. The state police went into the castle, Rothschild Castle, found all these dead bodies and living women. Story dies. That's just one story from Burgundy, France in 2001. You look, you can go find it if you want. Yeah. Dead bodies in crates, starving women in cages, hanging. And they had ballrooms where the rich elite would eat while people begged for their lives and starve. That's really the real Satanism. That's just the ambiance of starving, crying, begging children and women. That's see, the thing about evil, once you really get into it, there's no bottom. It just gets worse and worse and worse. I once asked Gavin again, it's like 10 years ago, I said, what's the bottom of wokeness? He said, there is no bottom. And boy, was he right.
Se on ihan totta, että pahuudella on käytännössä, mitä syvemmälle mennään, niin käytännössä tapahtuu aika sairaita juttuja. Se on muuten ihan totta, että nämä olympialaiset osu just tähän kohtaan. Ei varmasti ole sattumaa. Niin, no, mutta toisaalta kato, tämä moraalinen puolihan tässä on se, että siinä vaiheessa, kun näin vakavat rikokset paljastuu, niin kaikki ne nimet, jotka sieltä löytyy, niin kyllä ne varmasti jonkinnäköisiä turvapaikkoja etsii itselleen tällä hetkellä. Et Israel valitettavasti suojelee näitä pedofiileja. He ei luovuta niitä, keitä he suojelee. Tietenkin pienellä kevennyksenä joku oli vähän heittänyt huumorista jutun tuolla Losissa.
As a sacrifice temple, there's not a lot of cities you can work. This is one of the only cities. You know, the problem is a lot of these people already have sacrifice temples they've been using for years. So to break into it at this point is very hard.
Josh, like you don't remember me, I remember you. Last July, we had a lot of fun. Come on. He knows.
So I'm also trying to get into entertainment. I'm trying to do that.
Has anybody else's boss also killed himself? It's like fucking weird, you know?
Listen, I mean, this is like the next phase of my life. I didn't expect this to happen. I thought I would work until retirement, but now I'm fucking, you know, I'm out here in LA trying to break in entertainment.
This is my dream. I always wanted to be a stand-up comedian. Even when Hillary Clinton was slicing the throats of children, I said, I just want to make people laugh.
My owner is dead-ish, wherever he fucking is. He's not using me anymore. You know, the other day I was out and I saw the Scientology Celebrity Center and this motherfucker didn't even say hello to me. Bitch, you know who I am. You fucking know who I am. I've had just as many celebrities inside of me as you. Okay? Fucking clown. And everybody thinks we're both fucking pervs and weirdos. Okay? Everybody's like, it wasn't always sacrifice. Sometimes it was music night. You know? You think I control what goes on? No. I get hired for a job like everybody else. People do what they're going to fucking do.
There, I'm like a bouncy castle for satanic pedophiles. You know? That's not all I want to be.
Finally just got headshots. Meeting with a manager. Don't know how it's going to work. Don't expect anything. Somebody told me to start a podcast. I mean, I guess it's not a bad idea. but this is where it's at now, you know? Jeffrey used to look at me, used to say, one day I'm going to be gone and shit's going to be different. And you know what? He was fucking right.
People who's been wondering when we're going to find out more about the Jeffrey Epstein story, who's been asking for disclosure, or at least wanting more disclosure. The dump of more than 3 million Epstein-related documents a few days ago by the U.S. government is, well, pretty amazing, but also kind of a mixed blessing. Because
Juu, se on selvää, että jossain Kuubassahan tämmöiset pedofiilit vaan vetäisi hirttolavalle. Se on sen jälkeen asian järjestyksessä. Mutta tässähän on nyt se tilanne, että käytännössä ne niin kuin suojelee tavallaan toinen toisia maailmanlaajuisesti. Siis sehän on pedofiiliverkosto. Se ei ole mikään yksittäinen rinki. Israelin tiedustelupalvelu on kiristänyt näitä henkilöitä. Kiristää heitä tälläkin hetkellä. Ja nyt tämä materiaali käytännössä kiristettävistä laitettiin verkkoon. Ja sitten sen jälkeen alkaa damage control, eli heittelevät toiseen bussin alla. Ja oikeusteitse käytännössä Hillary Clinton ja Bill Clinton ovat luvanneet todistamaan seuraavaksi se Epstein-keisissä.
in that cache of material is a lot of tantalizing information. There's also a lot of stuff that's maybe not true. There's some stuff that seems kind of fantastical, and it's all there together. And you could ask yourself, well, why is that? Could this be an attempt to discredit the whole story by throwing nonsense in next to clearly true information? I mean, possibly. We can't know. All we can do is assess what's on the internet right now. So included in that document dump are a bunch of emails to and from Jeffrey Epstein, to and from people whose names we know, and in a lot of cases, people whose names have been redacted for whatever reason. We can't know why they were redacted. We can guess. There are text messages. There are videos. There are photographs. There are all kinds of attachments, documents, and there are also a lot of statements from anonymous people, some named people that may or may not be true, including people who just called into some sort of tip line with information about Epstein, including statements from confidential human sources that may or
Sitten hän väittää, että tämä kuvaus niin tapahtui tuolla Tel Avivissa. Niin aika tutun näköinen ukko. Että siellä se lähes Tel Avivin kaduilla käytännössä. Että lavastettiin se itsemurha silloin. Siinä Mossadin turvamiehet sitten vieressä.
Und die haben das doch aufgegessen. Und es war dann noch Haare.
was really good, and it definitely looked like Jeffrey Epstein. But the angle that they put out today, no doubt in my mind, that is 1000% Jeffrey Epstein. Doesn't look like anybody else. But what I keep coming back to, you guys, is Epstein's been passed for like almost 7 years. So why now that they released all, quote unquote, of the Epstein files, does this homeless guy who looks just like Jeffrey Epstein make a public appearance? I know I'm not the only one that feels like that's just a pretty crazy coincidence. Lots of him not trying to hide or do anything at all, just walking around in broad daylight. Nothing happens for a reason. It's probably all just a huge coincidence.
FTX. There's a reason why when all these scandals seem to happen, my name doesn't seem to be mentioned in them. And no, it's not because no one likes me. It's because my default answer is no. And I don't care if you lose money. I don't care if it means I get put on the little kids' table and I don't get to go to the White House or any of these other things. Why would I want to go? What are those people offering?
Mutta noissa Epstein-asiakirjoissa, niin niissä on käynyt ilmi just se, että niissä sähköposteissa Jeffrey Epstein, niin hän on tiedustellut alaikäisten lasten tämmöisiä viisumeita, että miten lennetään Amerikkaan käytännössä ympäri maailmaa. E2-viisumeilla 15-vuotiaita tyttöjä käytännössä. Niin eihän siinä tarvitse kyllä olla mikään ruudinkeksijä tajutakseen, mistä on kysymys. Niin kuin se siellä Floridassakin koulutti niitä lukioikäisiä alaikäisiä tyttöjä hierojiksi käytännössä. Mutta se on vaan, että kun joku lapsi tekee tämmöistä pedofiilien kanssa sopimuksen, niin siihen sisältyy sielun hinta kanssa. Ja sen jälkeenhän siitä maailmasta ei vaan kukaan lähde pois. Siinä vaiheessa, kun sielu on myyty näille satanisteille käytännössä.
To dinner with him in Buckingham Palace. He had the run of the Queen's Airfield, had the run of the Royal Palaces, was able to bring in Harvey Weinstein, God help the daughters, the debutantes that were at that dinner. Epstein has destroyed the British royal family. It'll be the end if King Charles, God bless his cotton socks, were to snuff it right now. It would be the end of the British monarchy after 1,000 years or so. It's also true, and now undeniable, that Epstein had the run of Downing Street as well as Buckingham Palace. He met Tony Blair in Downing Street. Why? Why did the British Prime Minister find time to entertain a real estate guy from New York? What was special about Jeffrey Epstein, who only a few years earlier had been working in London in the office of Robert Maxwell, the greatest thief of the 20th century in Britain? And Epstein was his office boy, learning the ropes. We know.
Juu, kyllähän Epstein, se oli Mossadin agentti. Robert Maxwell oli Mossadin agentti. Ghislaine Maxwell on Mossadin agentti. Silloin ne palaset loksahtaa käytännössä näistä asioista. Ja sitten Epsteinin saari, Rothschildin omistama. Jeffrey Epsteinhan sanoi siihen sähköpostissa, että hän edustaa Rothschildia.
After years of being kept apart, we're standing together.
Standing together.
Because this girl deserves the truth.
Because she deserves the truth.
Because we all deserve the truth.
Goy. Do you know what this is?
I mean, I've heard the term, but what does it mean? It's
I think it means slaves, right? Nation cattle. Yeah, it's a racial slur to everybody that's not Jewish. This is in these files, like.
Gillian has no soul. And you know yourself what I've been through trying to take her down. And the reason why I've had to go through that is because she's a dangerous human being. She will reoffend, and reoffend. These people never stop, ever. She had no remorse in her voice.
Analyze the jerky. Why didn't we get jerky this week? I also added more to the jerky and ginger lemongrass. Thank you so much. Super cool. Beef jerky, delicious. Jojo is here and we'll walk the jerky over to Jeffrey. We'll walk the jerky over to Jeffrey. Why would jerky walk around? Why would it do that? Delicious lunch, beef jerky. Steve and I are very grateful above all for your friendship. Some of these emails are so wholesome, aren't they? It's too bad they eat kids. A small insulated bag would be fine. I don't remember checking it. No need for crazy amounts of ice. One should do. There is one bag of beef jerky in the fridge. Please get it. Also, Blank has more at her place. Please get it from her as well. I suppose it needs to be in a cold, insulated bag. Just wanted to touch base about jerky. J.E. said he was going to start eating regular food again, so he might be eating less jerky. He said he has 6 bags of it in the downstairs freezer. Why would you freeze jerky? Wire transfer request for a 65-gallon guys, 655-gallon sulfuric acid with fuel and insurance charge.
Tässä näkyy toi, että se oli rekka-autollisia tilannut rikkihappoa muun muassa tämä Epstein.
They are dissolving bodies.
Should I bring more? Old saying, dog ate my homework. Well, my dog ate the beef jerky. I was looking for the beef jerky. I knew it was in my suitcase, and then thought maybe I left it at the beach only to find a small plastic bag near my dog's bed, hence no beef jerky. I emailed Francis to make sure more of it. We need 6 to 8 ounces to send to the lab to get processed in the IVs, and I'll forward Francis the info to send it to the lab directly. I'll try you later today. This is a message complaining, Jeffrey Epstein and others. I don't want to be too demanding, but the last time food was cold, can you please make sure the food is hot? Cold pizza, dead kid, and cold pasta, dead kid, are disgusting. Do you still want us for lunch?
Ne on nyt kiertosanoja ja pizza tarkoittaa niin kuin pientä lasta.
Woody said you should write back Woody, meaning that you just want Woody for lunch today. Just so you know that wouldn't go over well. This is hundreds of these. Jeffrey is becoming the Mother Teresa. Sorry, I spilled water on this, so you see that. Feeding hungry children and taking care of the poor. Feeding hungry children. I mean, feeding them out. If this happens, I will get very scared, and then the end of the world is soon. And there's breakdowns of Asmund Gold. He does a good job breaking these down very quickly. Let's click up at him, and then I got a bunch that haven't been covered yet. At least I haven't seen them covered yet. Got hundreds of them right over there. And I haven't even gotten into the openly him in hundreds of emails selling babies, buying babies, disappearing babies, paying them for their babies. And this is him talking about babies. I think I covered at the start, too, that sex slavery, we have the slave. We have the slave. It's at the Hyatt. It's a sex slave, and it's been paid for. Here's that clip.
People going crazy think they found a code word for human meat? Wait, what? Hope you are feeling
Toi koodisana, mitä ne käytti, niin jerky-sana oli ihmisen liha.
better. Did we analyze the jerky? Why didn't we get jerky this week? I also added more to the jerky and ginger lemongrass. Thank you so much. Super cool. Beef jerky, delicious. Jojo is here and we'll walk the jerky over to Jeffrey. We'll walk the jerky over to Jeffrey. Why would jerky walk around? Why would it do that? Delicious lunch, beef jerky. Steve and I are very grateful above all for your friendship. Some of these emails are so wholesome, aren't they? It's too bad they eat kids. A small insulated bag would be fine. I don't remember checking it. No need for crazy amounts of ice. One should do. There is one bag of beef jerky in the fridge. Please get it. Also, Blank has more at her place. Please get it from her as well. I suppose it needs to be in a cold, insulated bag. Just wanted to touch base about jerky. J.E. said he was going to start eating regular food again, so he might be eating less jerky. He said he has 6 bags of it in the downstairs freezer. Why would you freeze jerky? Steve needs a 6 to 8 ounce portion of jerky.
Back, stay with us.
Steve needs a 6 to 8 ounce portion of jerky. I gave you all the jerky we had, and it lasted only half the amount of time it was meant to. I felt like it was more important for you to have the jerky to eat during my time off. My plan is to make a batch before I leave for LSJ, and some of that will go to Steve, and the rest will go to you at LSJ when I arrive. Little St. James Island. And that's what LSJ must mean. So logically, that means that they were doing this off of the island. Steve Hansen is sending jerky to your attention overnight. I believe it should be enough to get him through. Jeffrey Epstein is asking to bring him more jerky. I'm flying in on Friday. I will bring jerky. Is there a time I could come say hi and drop off the beef jerky? And that's from Jeffrey Epstein. Francis has time to come tomorrow. Show me how to make it. Jerky class anyone. He will bring you to taste his new jerky recipe from the restaurant. He sends a warm hello. He's working at a restaurant called guys, the restaurant's called Cannibal and Cooks. Wait for it. Beef jerky and steak. Can Blank make some jerky? I think we should landscape all around the house to use the water if possible. If the main house is not enough. Are there any recorded images of Jeffrey Epstein with beef jerky at all? No, there are no recorded or publicly known images of Jeffrey Epstein with beef jerky. Who sends beef jerky to a lab for analysis? Wait, what? I was looking for the beef jerky as I knew it was in my suitcase, and I thought that maybe I left it on the beach, only to find a small plastic bag near my dog's bed. I'll email Francis to make us some more, as I need 6 to 8 ounces to send to the lab, and I'll forward to Francis the info to send to the lab directly. Guys, I think something's going on. What's this here? Apparently it's his last girlfriend who's active on Twitter right now. Check the mail. Names for hers again. Oh boy, oh boy. People are saying this is Jeffrey Epstein's last girlfriend. And this is the same name as inside of the files. And her name change hasn't occurred since 2017 before the files released. After years of silence, the truth. Jeffrey was innocent. I really? Like, he just a good boy? He didn't do nothing wrong? Trapped by powerful people who silenced him. I was his last confidant, and I have the evidence that they're still hiding. I'm not suicidal, just in case. You'll know the whole truth soon. They sacrificed children to Lucifer. It's an entire cult. Jeffrey got involved in their operation for financial reasons and to obtain Combraprat, but never participated in the rituals. Oh, what is this here? I'll pull this one up and see it. That's crazy. She cooked in the brain? Maybe. She ate the brain? Yeah, maybe she did. Wire transfer request form. A 65-gallon... Guys, 655-gallon sulfuric acid with fuel and insurance charge? They are dissolving bodies.
All right, I'm going to be very clear about this. I've done an hour and a half of live broadcast and have not plugged one time. You're not going to get economic, cultural, military, spiritual analysis like this anywhere else. It's not a power trip. I've been blessed by God with the best crew, the best guests, the best intel, but it's up to you to boost this information. All I ask is that you share the live feeds, you share the articles. We get shut down early next month, which is, I haven't made the announcement yet, but this is it. God keeps coming through with miracles, but it just looks like it. You'll see major movement soon. I'll just stop there. It's okay. But I'm asking all of you that have been on the fence, you share articles, videos, wonderful. Keep doing it. I thank you. Humbly. I'm not mad you never supported us financially, but the products are great. I'm asking everyone to do one.
Attorney General Pam Bondi at the Department of Justice, she authorized a memo. She signed off on a memo that said there are no Epstein files. That was the official declaration of the Department of Justice. They said the files do not exist. The White House put out a press release that said the files do not exist. Not only is that a lie, and it is, there are actually 6 million files, okay? So they lied. They said the files don't exist, and actually what they said is the only thing that we have in our possession is child sexual abuse material. They said, we don't have documents, we don't have emails, we don't have anything. They said, you've seen it all. Everything that we have, you've got. They said, all that we have left is sexual abuse material that we cannot release because it hurts the victims.
Se oli 2017 muun muassa Pizzagate oli myös semmoinen, mikä haudattiin maton alle. Jopa Suomessakin lytättiin ja väitettiin, että ei tämmöistä ole olemassa. Että tämä on salaliittoteoria.
Remember? So the files do exist and they lied. Then they came up with another lie to cover it up. And they said, well, we can't release what is remaining because it's all just going to hurt the victims. Remember that? They said it would be irresponsible to release what is remaining because that would only compromise the victims' privacy or safety. So that's...
Ja sehän on siis silleen ollut kautta aikaan, että tämmöiset valtion koneiston sisällä olevat pedofiilit. Ja poliisihallitukset ja viranomaiset suojelee näitä pedofiileja. Ja he nimittää sitä valtiolliseksi turvallisuudeksi. Sama juttu Amerikassa myös.
It's actually an active cover-up. That's not like they were misinformed. They didn't exaggerate. That's not a false promise. The Trump administration engaged in an active deception and a cover-up. They also said there are no people that we need to investigate. They said there's no black book. There's nobody else that we're interested in. They said there are no other persons of interest or suspects. And yet, inside their own files, which they said didn't exist, they say that there are people, and this is their terminology, that are likely incriminated. So how are you not interested in any further investigation? There are no other persons of interest. The case is closed. And yet there are 6 people that we know of. We don't even know their names because they're redacted. But the DOJ acknowledges there are 6 people that we know of that are likely incriminated. So they lied about that too, and they closed the case anyway. So Pam Bondi needs to be impeached. You do realize that. I think this fits the bill for high crimes and misdemeanors. You lied about the existence of the files. You lied about unindicted collaborators and accomplices. There are people that you acknowledge exist who are likely incriminated in the files that you said did not exist. You lied in the furtherance of a cover-up. Pam Bondi has to be impeached. Kash Patel has to be impeached. These people have to go. They cannot keep their jobs. How could we trust that Pam Bondi's DOJ, which covered up the files for a year and a
Mutta sehän on selvä juttu, että siinä vaiheessa noin isokinkiset pedofiilit paljastuu. Niin jos ne niin kuin oikeuslaitoksessa tuomittaisiin, he ei tekisi virkatehtäviä enää päivääkään sen jälkeen. Sen takia se valtiollinen turvallisuus menee sinne edelle. Että tämmöisiä pedofiileja suojellaan koko koneiston voimalla. Se on nyt muuttunut tämän Epstein-skandaalin myötä. Mutta varmaan tämä striimi on nyt tässä sitten. Ja uusille katsojille niin saa painella ja laittakaa kanavatilaukseen. Seurataan tilannetta.